Own your money. Own your life.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is the Jared Dillian Show. So, are you a wealth creator? I guess I am. Let's talk about this in some detail. Who creates wealth? Well, let's say you have a portfolio of stocks and mutual funds, and the stocks go up. So your account gets bigger. Are you creating wealth? No, you're not. You're a passenger. Okay. You're just along for the ride. You are not creating wealth. Who is creating wealth? The people who work at the companies that you own stock in, they are the ones creating wealth. You're just a passenger. You're along for the ride. So you're on the backs of someone else who is creating wealth. Did you see this thing where people are signing a petition to have Jeff Bezos stay in space? I mean, come on. You know, Amazon is the greatest company in the world. It really is. Like, we landed in the United States. You know, we were on a flight from Athens to JFK. I was talking to my wife, and she says, yeah, we got to order a cat hammock. We got to order some cat food, mostly cat stuff, and I've got a pair of headphones and stuff like that. And as soon as we landed, I just hit, buy, and it's going to show up at my house in 2 days. So that is, it's indistinguishable from magic. It's absolutely magic. And that is a very difficult business. One of the things we're learning about Amazon is they have a difficult time retaining people because it's a very hard job. So some people are like, oh, the poor Amazon workers. Poor workers, poor Amazon. They have like 150% turnover every year. They constantly have to find people to work for the company. And one of the things that Amazon said is that, they think that someday they might run out of a pool of available workers. So that's going off on a tangent. If you start a business and you make money and you hire employees and they make money, you are creating wealth. So I've had about 10 employees over the years. They have all been very fairly compensated. They are all richer because of working for me, usually because of things they learned on the job. Okay. Now, people on the left tend to use the word job creator as a pejorative term. They say, ooh, job creator. And they say it sarcastically. But it's a big deal. If you take a risk and start a business and you employ other people and you pay them, you are doing a lot more society than the person who is standing off to the side criticizing, And like politicians do not create wealth. They don't. Biden is president. The economy gets better. It's like he can't take credit for him. It has nothing to do with him. The best that they can hope for is to create the conditions that are necessary for other people to create wealth. But politicians don't create wealth. It drives me nuts when politicians take credit for the economy. It's usually doing well or poorly for reasons that have nothing to do with them. A lot of people blame Bush for the financial crisis. It really had nothing to do with Bush. It had to do with policies that were enacted when Clinton was president. And I'm not blaming Clinton because very few people could have seen the consequences of what they were doing with housing. Even if you don't start a business, you can still create wealth. If you have a job and you go to work and you produce value in excess of what you are paid, then you are creating wealth. If you're paid $15 an hour and you're creating $20 worth of value, you are creating wealth, right? How does that make you feel? Pretty good. Now, if you go to work and you're on Facebook or you're like surfing porn or you're just wasting time, then you're not creating wealth and you're just collecting a paycheck and you're just a parasite. You're not creating wealth. It's my experience that most people do not create wealth. And I'm going to say that most people, 80% of people, are overpaid, not underpaid. They think they're underpaid. They're actually overpaid. They're overpaid relative to the value that they create. But the market has a way of sorting that out. So what we have in this country is shareholder capitalism. So if you think a company is a good investment, you can buy the stock, and as the company grows, your investment will grow, and everyone makes money. How many trillions of household wealth has been created through shareholder capitalism? We have a fantastically wealthy society. And we are the only country in the world that has the concept of creating wealth. Everywhere else looks at money not as a dynamic quantity, but a static quantity. So you have a pile of money, you can shift the money to this pile, you can shift the money to that pile, but it's the same amount of money. Here in the United States, we can actually create money out of thin air, and I'm not referring to the Fed. If you want to keep creating wealth, then you have to keep the incentives in place. You know, Biden said he wanted to raise the capital gains tax to 40%. That is not the way to create the conditions for creating wealth. Taxes on investment income should be lower than on W-2 income. Otherwise, you reduce the incentive to save and invest. You know, sometimes I think about what wealth I created when I was a trader at Lehman Brothers, because I was a market maker. I was making markets in ETFs. And really what I was doing was I was increasing financial liquidity and making it easier for people to trade. And that's difficult to explain to people, but it's a fairly noble calling. Making markets is a very important function. When you think about what the government has been doing with the stimulus checks, this is not creating wealth. This is taking money from one group of people and giving it to another group of people. And this is why I don't mind infrastructure spending that much, actual infrastructure, because then we have assets that will last 100 years or more. That is an investment. So think about what you do in your daily life that creates wealth. By the way, if you're a teacher, you are creating wealth. You are making kids smarter that will go on to create wealth in their lives. It's also a very noble calling. If you are a thief, you are not creating wealth. Let's put it that way. You are actually a wealth destroyer. I'm Jared Dillian. This is The Jared Dillian Show.
The Jared Dillian Show.